Welcome to day 6 of our 21 Days to Transform Your Love Life Challenge. Today, we're excited to bring you our deep dive conversation with Ava and Harper, where they'll explore manifesting your ideal partner. Step 1: Setting realistic expectations. Let's take a moment to reflect, evaluate, and align your vision of a partner with qualities that foster a healthy, lasting relationship. Enjoy today's session. Your transformation starts within.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we're going to be diving into something that I think a lot of us struggle with, and that's, the whole idea of expectations in relationships.
Yeah.
And we're kind of going a little bit deeper than just like surface level dating advice.
Right.
We're really trying to get to the heart of like, okay, what are realistic expectations? And, how do we make sure that those expectations are actually serving us? And the inspiration for today's deep dive is actually Day 6 of 21 Days, Transform Your Love Life Challenge, Step 1, Setting Realistic Expectations. By the Offline Social, and for anyone who's not familiar with them, the Offline Social is really all about creating like these more authentic connections. And they're really trying to help people, move away from like the more superficial aspects of dating.
Right. And it's so important because, I think sometimes we have these grand ideas about what a relationship should be.
Lovely.
And those ideas might not actually be serving us well. So yeah, setting realistic expectations is really about refining those standards, making sure that they're actually going to help us find a partner who's truly compatible.
Yeah, and I think it's easy to get caught up in this trap of like, these must-haves.
Yeah.
We all have them.
Absolutely.
Right. But I mean, I think the real question is, are these actually deal breakers, or are they just, remnants of like romantic comedies?
Right. Or just societal expectations that we've internalized.
Yeah, exactly. Like, are we letting like pop culture
totally
dictate what we think a relationship should look like? So this challenge is really about getting real with ourselves and figuring out what we truly want.
And what's interesting is this source actually suggests something I thought was really valuable.
Oh, yeah?
Which is to get feedback from trusted friends on our expectations.
Oh.
Yeah, because sometimes, we can be so in our own heads
Absolutely.
that we don't see things clearly.
Yes.
And an outside perspective, especially for people who know us well and have our best interests at heart, can be really illuminating and help us identify blind spots.
It's like having like a relationship consultant like in your like inner circle.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just about like getting rid of those superficial traits, but also understanding why we might be clinging to them in the first place.
I think that's a really good point. Like, it's not necessarily about, saying that those things are bad or wrong to want.
Exactly.
But it's about like really examining the why behind them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the source argues that sometimes these, superficial wants are actually masking deeper needs.
Right.
So, for example, like if you're fixated on a partner who's incredibly fit, it might be less about like the, six-pack abs.
Right.
And more about wanting someone who values health and vitality.
Yes.
Which ultimately aligns with your own values.
Exactly. It's about finding those deeper connections between what we think we want on the surface and what our core values actually are.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And, the Offline Social also emphasizes that we should be focusing on the qualities that truly matter.
Yes.
Like, the cornerstones of a strong relationship. Things like trust, respect, communication.
It's so important because, like, think about it this way. You're in the middle of a disagreement with your partner.
Okay.
Right. Would their ability to, like, quote your favorite movie be more valuable than their willingness to listen, compromise, and actually work through the issue with you?
Yeah, you're totally right. Probably not.
Right.
But I mean, hey, if they can quote your favorite movie, that's
bonus point.
That's a definite bonus. Yeah.
All right.
But you're right. It highlights how crucial those deeper qualities are, especially when things get tough.
Yes.
Which, let's be honest, they inevitably do at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not always going to be smooth sailing.
No, right.
And you need someone who can weather those storms with you.
Yeah, you need someone who can like be there with you and communicate effectively and problem solve and all of those things.
Remember, it's a two-way street.
Oh, that's such a good point.
You should also embody those qualities that you're looking for in a partner.
I think that's something that we often forget. It's not just about like what we want from someone else, but it's also about like, are we bringing those qualities to the table as well?
Absolutely. It's about being a good partner ourselves.
Totally. And, I think The offline social really emphasizes that.
Yeah.
And they also encourage us to look at our lifestyle.
Yes.
And ask ourselves, like, are we genuinely ready for a relationship?
Yeah, because sometimes we can be so focused on finding the one that we forget to actually create space for them in our lives.
Right. Like, practically speaking.
Exactly.
Like, do we have the time?
Yes.
The time, the energy,
The emotional bandwidth.
the emotional availability.
All of that. It's like that old saying, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Oh, I love that saying.
Right. You need to have the capacity, the energy, and the willingness to actually nurture a relationship.
Yeah, and if we're like burnt out and stressed,
Exactly.
just like totally depleted.
You're not going to be able to show up as your best self.
Exactly. And how can we expect someone else to want to be with us if we're not even taking care of ourselves?
Right. It all starts with self-care.
Totally. And that might mean adjusting your work schedule or making more time for dating.
Yeah, prioritizing it.
Prioritizing it.
Instead of just like fitting it in when you can.
Squeezing it in.
Exactly.
Or even like reevaluating how you spend your free time,
Yeah. Are your habits and routines actually conducive to building a healthy relationship?
Right. Like, are we spending all of our free time doing things that are just for us?
Or things that are draining us?
Exactly.
Rather than things that are filling us up.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah. And making us feel energized and ready to connect with someone.
Yeah, it's like, are we creating the space for a relationship to even exist
Exactly.
in our lives? And I think that's a good prompt for reflection, especially if you've been feeling like stuck in the same dating patterns, Like, maybe the issue isn't finding the right person, but creating the right environment for a relationship to thrive.
It's about aligning your actions with your desires.
I love that. So, to kind of recap everything we've talked about today, I think this deep dive has really highlighted the importance of setting realistic expectations.
Absolutely.
Going beyond the surface to understand what truly matters.
Yes.
And making sure that our lifestyle actually supports the kind of relationship that we want.
It's about being intentional and self-aware in your approach to love, which ultimately empowers you to create a more fulfilling connection.
Totally. So, if you're feeling frustrated in your search for love, maybe it's time to take a step back. Reevaluate those expectations.
Ask yourself those tough questions.
Yeah, like, are they serving you or are they actually standing in your way?
Right.
And remember, you have the power to create the love life that you desire.
You do.
But it starts with a solid foundation of self-awearness and a willingness to do that inner work.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's what we have for you today.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. All right, bye.
Bye.